Hello everyone, Evan Petzold and Jeff Seidel from the Detroit Free Press coming to you after the Tigers' 9-3 win over the Mariners in Game 4 of the ALDS, avoiding elimination and forcing a Game 5 Friday at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. The Tigers were left for dead going into the bottom of the 5th inning, and then they exploded for 3 runs in the 5th, 4 runs in the 6th, and that ultimately leads to a 9-3 win. There were a lot of players who factored into this one. Relievers, starters, plenty of hitters. Jeff, what are your biggest takeaways from this 9-3 victory to force a winner-take-all Game 5?
This was an elimination game, and they were dead. They were done. 15 outs from the season being over. And then Mr. Dylan Dingler, bang. Jahmai Jones, bang. Javi Baez, bang. Ties it up, and I swear at that moment, they relaxed. And then they started jacking homers. They started hitting the ball. And then you mentioned relievers. Troy Melton, who is a rookie, came through in the clutch, pitching out of his brain. He was great.
He was really impressive. And after the Tigers pulled starter Casey Mize after 3 innings, and make no mistake, Casey Mize was good through 3 innings. He had 6 strikeouts. He only allowed 1 run. But the Tigers decided to go away from Casey Mize with Josh Naylor due up in the 4th inning. And once they decided to go away from Casey Mize, that opened that bullpen door. They still had to get 18 outs the rest of the way, and they were able to piece it together. And a big part of that being Troy Melton. He really has been a revelation for this team this season.
He's been so solid, and he pitched in Seattle when it was such an incredible atmosphere. Mm-hmm. You talk about that moment when they took out Casey. I think the big quiet moment was Finnegan coming in and limiting the damage to just 1 run. It was huge.
Well, because that's exactly what happened when they go away from Casey Mize and they bring in Tyler Holton, a left-handed reliever, to face Naylor, to get Calzone as well. And yeah, he gets in trouble, and you're in a situation where it's bases loaded, and they got to go to Kyle Finnegan. Now, gets the ground ball double play, that scores a run, but then he gets the pop out. So bases loaded, nobody out, and he limits it to just 1 run. That really was a big difference maker, and it allowed for Troy Melton to take over, without any inherited runners. It was just really special what the bullpen was able to do, especially there in that moment. And then we see the offense come alive, and it started with a Spencer Torkelson hit in the 5th inning, and then you mentioned it was Dylan Dingler and the rest of the crew coming up. And then Riley Green with the big swing in the 6th inning. He had the go-ahead home run to make it 4-3. I think that ball is still going.
It still is. And Javi Baez, 4 RBIs. It was such a cute moment after the game. He's on the podium with his 2 little kids. That was wonderful. And it all sets up winner take all in Seattle. Who's on the mound?
Tarik Skubal, the best pitcher in the world. What are your expectations for this one? Because Tarik Skubal, he pitched in Game 2. He is now going to pitch again in Game 5. This is a winner take all type situation. The Mariners have beaten Tarik Skubal before, and not always by Tarik Skubal's fault, but in games Tarik Skubal has pitched, the Mariners have been able to find a way to win. Do you think Tarik Skubal is able to snap that in Game 5 and send the Tigers to the ALCS?
I really do, because I loved his attitude on the podium after the game. He was like, I don't want to talk. I mean, it was burning with fire.
Well, you remember a year ago when Tarik Skubal went into a Game 5 in the ALDS against the Cleveland Guardians on the road. It was at Progressive Field, and he gives up the big grand slam to Lane Thomas, and that ultimately is what ended the season. And he was asked, 1 year later, you are going into the same situation. You have any thoughts about that? And he said, you guys write the narratives. I'm just going to go out there and pitch. And I like that attitude. I think you're right.
And also go back and listen to some of the words their manager talked about. And he kind of had this subtle, we've beaten Skubal. And I'm like, ooh, be careful what you look for, what you wish for.
Game 5 of the ALDS, Detroit Tigers, Seattle Mariners, winner take all Friday at T-Mobile Park. That's it for us. Evan Petzold, Jeff Seidel from the Detroit Free Press. Stick with freep.com/sports for all of our coverage. We'll catch you next time.